of organize. I'm not an advanced Git user. I've used it for a few years, but mostly just with the basic tools. So I can help with the basic stuff, but not a big person to ask about merge conflicts and things like that. I'm located in Boise, Idaho. I'm a faculty at Boise State.
Do we have any other helpers on the line?
I'm Nicoleta Christie. I'm a research scientist at the University of Washington in civil and environmental engineering and part of the HackWeek as a service team at eScience. I could potentially help out if in the beginning, I have another meeting that I have to be at 2, so hopefully there'll be time for that.
Excellent. Do we have any other helpers on here today?
Hi, everyone. Hi, Eli. Let's see, I didn't sign up to be a helper, but I have some experience. My experience comes in like 6-month, 3-month waves or like little projects, and then it pauses for a bit. But yeah, happy to help where I can. And I'm located in Boise, Idaho.
Great. Okay, anyone else? Okay, great. So it sounds like we have 20 participants here, not 20, 16 who are here for the workshop. So why don't you start off by putting your hand up. Let's see if we can get this to work. Trying to get my layout going here. There we go. Okay, so let's see if I can get my hand up here. Can others get their hands up? Do we have that capability? Yes, okay. Great. Okay, perfect. So how about who's at the top here? Adrian, why don't you start, and then when you're done, take your hand down and pick somebody else with their hand up. So just your name, where you're at, and a little bit about your GitHub experience.
Sure. Hi, I'm Adrian. I'm at the University of New Mexico in Albuquerque, and I have a very, very basic knowledge. I did like an introduction once with another course, and that's about it. So, and I guess I'll pick Bailey's at the top for me.
Okay.
Hi, I'm Bailey from the University of Utah, doing my master's degree, and I have 0 experience with GitHub. And I'll do Gail Reques.
Yeah, hi, thanks, Bailey. I'm Gail Reques. I'm with the NSIDC in Boulder, Colorado. I will be presenting a tutorial during Hack Week, but I do need to get up to speed. So my level of experience is basic. Okay. So I will pick Sean Joseph.
Hi, I'm Sean Joseph. I'm from the University of Nevada, Reno, and I have no GitHub experience. I will pick Caitlin Meyer.
Hey, I'm Caitlin. I'm at Ohio State University in Columbus, Ohio, and my GitHub knowledge is also very basic. I've done introductory things with it, but that's it. And I will choose Corey Mooney.
Hi, my name's Corey Mooney. I will be starting a master's program at the University of Wyoming this fall, and I have no GitHub experience. I choose Jonas Frederick.
Hi, My name is Jonas Frederick, and I'm from the University of Ghent. So it's 10 p.m. right here, so it's quite late. And I have also no GitHub experience. I choose Sveta Stoifer.
Hi, good morning, good evening, everyone. I'm Sveta Stoifer. I'm I'm in Fairbanks, Alaska. I'm a faculty member at the Department of Civil and Environmental Engineering, and I have zero GitHub experience. So thanks for organizing this introductory course. And I'm gonna pick up Gail Rekes.
I think Gail has gone.
Okay. How about, well, maybe I go to the bottom of my list. Megan Fairfailey.
Hi, yes, I'm Megan Verfai. I'm a graduate student at the University of New Hampshire. So I'm calling in from New Hampshire, but my experience with GitHub is fairly limited. I've used it once or twice before for coursework, but that's about it. So I'm looking forward to being here today, and thank you. Oh, I guess I have to pick another person. I apologize. The next person on my list is Dylan Krabik.
Hey, yeah, I'm Dylan Krabik from Carbondale, Colorado, calling in from Massachusetts right now, though, and zero GitHub experience. So this is all new to me. I'll pass it to Samuel Marcus.
Hi, I'm Sam. I am calling in from a car somewhere on Interstate 91, and I've never used GitHub before.
All right.
And I think the last person's Divya, right?
Yeah, thank you. So I am Divya Kumawat, and I am a graduate student from University of Minnesota. So I'm calling in from Minnesota. I also have zero experience with GitHub. I will call next Angela.
Hi, my name is Angela. I'm with the City College of New York, a graduate student, but calling in from Boulder, Colorado right now. I have had some introductory training on GitHub, and I tried to use it myself, but never quite figured out. So I'm back here again.
Yeah.
Thank you. Santiago Maneuver.
Hi everyone, I'm Santiago. I'm a PhD student at the University of Virginia. I'm with the Isolation group, and I am currently calling in from Ireland and also have very limited GitHub experience. So excited for this opportunity. And I think those are all the raised hands I see.
Okay, perfect. Well, this is great. I'm really happy to see all of those here who have zero experience with GitHub, because this workshop is to help you start learning it, get you the basic skills. So then when it gets to the hack week, you'll have a little more comfort. And I am going to be focusing on the really 4 basic skills that you need. Did I see somebody had their hand up? The question?
Oh, sorry, that was me. I have to raise my hand down.
Okay, great. And the other objective for today is to make sure that you can get into the Jupyter Lab, onto our Jupyter Hub, and like start working with Git. So we'll get you set up with Git today. That'll be our first task. For our helpers, a little logistics. So I have set up a number of breakout rooms. If you go to somewhere, I don't know exactly what you all see as your sort of the participants. What I see is some ... and then breakout rooms, and you can click on those. And I think I did. If you kind of scroll down at the bottom, you see helper 1, 2, 3. So that is what we are going to use when we're getting like in the chat, if you helpers, so keep your eye on the chat. If as I'm going through material, you see, you're going to use small, Angela. So helpers, if someone gets stuck and you say, this isn't working, so jump on the chat and say, can I get some help? And a helper join there and message them and say, let me take you into a particular room. So that way, hopefully we can keep everyone going. And if people have trouble, they can get the help they need. One more logistics thing. So I'm going through this material. I'll post it in the chat for us. And it has instructions of everything that I'm going to be showing. And as you get farther along, when we start doing things, when we get farther along, you're going to see this thing that says, show me. So that are little videos of me showing that task. Now, it's not intended that you watch these while I'm showing you. You might not need to see it at all. But I know how it is, like when you're following a workshop and you get a little bit behind and you missed a particular step. And what you would really like to do is be able to hit replay and see that instructor replay that demo. You can do that. Just click on that. I suggest you do right click, open link in new tab. Otherwise, when you're here on the notes, it's going to open it on the notes. Okay. So those are little logistics. Any logistics questions before I get started? Okay, let's jump in. So prerequisite. So first thing that you need to do is to be able to log in to the Jupyter Hub. So let's go. Let's see, what I need to do is I'm going to share a different screen for a second. Okay. So the link to the hub, let me paste it in the chat here for you. Come back here. Sorry about that. Come on, where's the chat? Here we go. Okay. Great. Okay, so that's our Jupyter Hub. When you click that, if you haven't logged in before, you should see this right here, this SnowEx. And when I log in, it's now asking for my GitHub credentials. So it's asking for my username and it's asking for my GitHub password. In this case, you're going to put in your real GitHub password. The reason I say real is in another step, we're not going to be using our password. We'll use something called a token. But here we're going to use the real one. Click sign in. Don't need that, so I can deny that. Now you're going to see this. Go ahead and pick small. And during the hack week, you're going to be using small, unless for some reason you're doing something that requires something bigger. But don't go bigger if you don't need to. Definitely today, all you need is small. And then you're going to click start. The first time that you spin up, it's going to take just a little while. Okay. Let's see, while that is spinning up, let me see, raise hands if anyone is not able to get to this part here. There we go, yes. Sveta, yeah, anyone else getting that message? Okay, Bailey, anyone else? Yeah, okay. Great. I mean, not great for you, but I'm going to show you what you need to do here. So I need to copy something. just copying into the chat there, the link to the GitHub organization. So if you go to that, you should see that. Those of you who are, it's saying that you're getting that message, you needed to accept an invite. And I'm thinking, pretty sure, or I hope, you're going to see it somewhere up here. It's going to say something like you have been invited, and you can click it, or you're going to be able to get this unread notifications. If none of those work, then do what Caitlin suggested and look at look in your email. But you should see the invite here. Okay. If you are, anyone is still stuck, if they can ask for help and a helper help them out. If you are really unable to get on, then you'll just have to follow along by watching because the administrators didn't have your GitHub username. Okay. So now, oh, it's still starting up, taking a little while. The once you get it started later, it's going to go a little faster, a lot faster. It's just the first time you start it up, it's slow. Almost there. Okay, so now I'm in. Let's do a little orientation on GitHub Lab. Okay. Okay. You should see something like this. You should not see Git Basics. You will see just the shared one. And over here is this nav bar. And this little one right here is what we're going to be using quite a bit. And that is what's called Jupyter Lab Git. Today, I'm mainly going to be showing you how to do the 4 basic tasks using Jupyter Lab Git. However, for all the tasks, I also show a video of how to do it from the shell. And for your learning's sake, I would suggest, like, once you get used to doing it from the GUI, go ahead and watch the shell, just to get more familiar with that. I personally mainly use GUIs. I'm perfectly capable of working from the command line, but I find the GUIs just faster, and that matters to me. But in this hack week, you're going to see the helpers working from the shell some. So it's definitely good to be a little familiar with that. So you say, I do not have this part. Okay, so does anyone else not see what I'm seeing here in this little thing right here? Ah, still loading? Okay, still waiting on the server. Okay. Anyone else got loaded up on the server? It's probably, the server's probably thinking because you're all trying to do it at once. Great, still loading. Okay, that's okay, because I planned for that. And now we are going to talk a little bit about background about Git. So I'll just let it load in the background, that's fine. And I'm gonna go now back over to the lecture here. So sorry about this little jumping back and forth here. Okay. So yeah, so just let that load in the background. Let's talk a little bit about what Git and GitHub are and some of the jargon that you're going to be hearing. So Git is just a little program to track the changes in your repositories, create these repositories, do all the managing. GitHub is a website that hosts the repository. And when we're working with Git, we have this concept of a remote or it's also called origin, typically, almost always, origin. In our case, the origin is going to be on GitHub. It is going to be a repository in the cloud. And then we can clone that, sort of make copies of that, either on our local computer, or in our case, we're going to be making a local copy on the Jupyter Hub. So this is the origin, and this is the local. And this process of making a copy is called cloning. We can make multiple clones, and they're all copies of this origin here. Okay, good. Got it. Okay, so now let's go over some jargon that you're going to hear. Repo, that just means repository. Everybody shortens it all the time without even thinking. So repo is just repository. And you can think of it like a folder on your computer. It's kind of like that. It's going to look just like a folder on your computer. But actually, repositories are quite special. They have this hidden folder. It's called the .git folder. And that has the information about the repository. And once you get into, or if you get into working with something called branches, that little folder has the instructions about how to change your folder to look like a branch. It also has, that little folder has the record of all the changes that have happened. And it knows, well, Git is able to do this. If you wanted, you could check out the version of your folder at some past point in time. So repository folders are special. I personally, when I have, maybe 100 repositories that I manage on my local computer, and I'm always careful to keep these folders in a separate place. I keep them in my documents in a folder called GitHub. I never want my repositories to get mixed in with my non-repositories. Even though they look the same, they're not. But for the Hack Week, you don't have to worry about this. You're just going to be working on Jupyter Hub. So next bit of lingo, stage or track. They're a little different, but they're going to be essentially the same for what we're doing. And that is a term where you've made some changes and you need to tell Git which changes, so which files that have changed, you want to associate with a note that you're about to write. So the way that Git is working is you're going to make changes, then you're going to write a little note about it and then store it. It's like you're tagging the history as you make changes. But you have to do this stage part first, which is to say, hey, these are the ones I want you to write this little note about. Otherwise, it doesn't know what you want to do. The commit part is the writing of the little note and kind of tagging the history. Pushing means pushing the local changes. So here, the local, I have computer, but for us, it's going to be Jupyter Hub. Pushing is going this way. You're pushing changes here up to here. Pulling is taking changes that appear here and pulling them onto your local. So we push up and we pull down. A Git GUI is a graphical interface to Git. So you could use Git just from the command line, but we also have these graphical interfaces, and that makes it a bit easier to work with Git. The shell is a terminal window where we can issue Git commands. Okay. If you have any questions, Yeah, thanks, HP. Yeah, I meant to delete that Git Basics folder, but that was left over from prepping this. You'll have that in there in a moment. We're going to copy that towards the end. Okay, so today I'm going to be teaching what's called a simple trunk-based workflow. When you're starting out, you have zero, most of you have zero experience with Git. And a basic tenet of when you are learning new skills is start with a subset of skills, kind of foundational skills, and then build up. So don't start trying to tackle everything and do everything complicated. No, start small and get comfortable. So we're going to start with this simple trunk-based workflow, and it looks like this in the image. When I say computer, in this case, it's Jupyter Hub. Okay, so it's the local. We're going to make change locally. So for you, it's going to be on Jupyter Hub. We're going to make a change. We're going to commit that change. We're going to make another change. We're going to commit that change. And then we push it to GitHub. Then we continue working. We make more changes and we work. And then we're done with that work. Maybe we were, creating a plot, and we're basically done. We write a note, said, hey, I've made a new plot. And then we work some more. Maybe we wanted to edit the documentation header on something. Do that. We make that change. We commit it, say, hey, this change to this file was about this. Boom, we write that note. And then we push it up to GitHub. And we just keep doing that. There are no branches here. It's just one trunk. In this case, it's the main, the one. So there's going to be no other branches. We just have one place we are committing changes and one place we are pushing changes. So it's really simple. Just as an aside, I work on, like I said, like 100 repositories. I live on Git and GitHub. I would say 95% of my work is a simple trunk-based workflow. My friends who work in the industry and software, they often use simple trunk-based workflows. There are many, many situations where this workflow is great, works fine. And the nice thing is that you don't get into, or it's much, much harder to get into something called a merge conflict, which will make you tear your hair out. When you do more complicated workflows, so where you're using branches and something called pull request, is a more complicated team-based effort. So I'm working, and all the helpers are contributing to this website. This is definitely a team-based effort. And this is a situation where we would be using a more complicated workflow. But this is what we're going to do today, the simple one. And like I said, it actually will serve you very well just using the trunk-based workflow. Okay, so is anyone not loaded? You, SS, okay. Oh, Corey also not loaded. Okay, so it's just kind of chugging along. We got 2 out of 16 not loaded. Okay. Okay, so hopefully for the 2 of you that'll load up pretty soon. Retrying. Okay, great. Okay, so remember, if you get behind and you're like, I missed that, now I want to see it. I've put these videos in here. They're just 2-minute little snippets having me show what I'm doing. We'll start here with, let's go ahead and get our personal access token, because we don't need the Jupyter Hub for that. And hopefully the rest of you are trying to get that spun up. Okay, so personal access tokens. You're going to run into this nowadays whenever you're working with GitHub. So GitHub changed. Used to be we would interact with GitHub from a Jupyter Hub or our local computer using our password, username and password. But they changed that to something called a personal access token. And this token, you can set limits to what access can do. And this protects you. So if somebody were to get your access token, they don't get to do just anything. They're kind of limited in what they can do. The other thing is that you can set a time for your tokens to expire. So like, you know, if you put your password into the Jupyter hub, it would be there forever and ever and ever and always until they shut down the hub. But if you use a personal access token, you can say, hey, this is going to expire in a month. So let's see how to make these personal access tokens. We've got the video there if you want to re-watch what I'm about to show. Okay, so first thing, you're going to go to your own page here. So it's going to say github.com and your username. You're going to go way over here to settings. Once settings shows up, you're going to scroll all the way down to developer settings. Okay, and then you see this personal access token. They couldn't have made it harder to find, I believe. There we go. So now you should see this. And move that over there. And now we say generate new token. There we go. You know, you can call it whatever you want. And you can reuse the tokens across multiple things. And I personally find generating the tokens a little bit of a hassle. So what I personally do, well, I guess it depends how paranoid you are. You could do a token for each separate thing. But what I often do is I'll say, you know, I say it for the date. So I might say, this is going to be go to through like, you know, July 2022, let's say. So it's kind of short. So let's see, it's been, so I want it to be about 60 days. There you go, 60 days. That should be plenty. That's plenty for the hack week. And then maybe I'll say it's for the SnowEx. Like I said, you can reuse these with things. So it's not specific to SnowEx in any way. All it's doing is giving a scope and a time. So give it a name and give it a time. And that is what you want there, that repo. Okay. That's what you all want, repo. What are all these other things? Well, if you needed these other things, you would know that you would need them. So if you look at that and you're like, do I need that? You don't need it. Okay. No, all you need is this one. So just click that one. What this is saying is you are using this token to be able to interact with repositories. And it's not going to be able to do all these other dangerous things. Okay. Now you're going to generate that. There we go. And that is what you're going to copy. You can copy it right there. Once you close this page, it will disappear. You will not be able to generate this token again. So you need to copy this and save this someplace because we're going to use this in the next step. So you should make your token, copy it, and then you've got, well, now I have it in the clipboard, but I could, you know, open a text editor, copy it. It's probably for you, it's just fine to keep it in the clipboard because you're about to use it. So that's it. So make sure you all get one of those so you can do the next step. I'm going to delete mine because obviously y'all can all see my token. You could, you know, interact with my repositories. So I'm just going to delete it now, but you should not delete it because you need yours. Okay, there we go. Okay, let's hop back over here. Okay, great, great, great. Okay, so let's hop back here. And now we are going to hop on and start doing the first. So we're right here. We're setting up the Git. And I'm going to show you this other page that I have up. This is the one that has the actual code I'm going to show. So if you want to be watching it, you need to use this other link I've just put in. Okay, I'm right here. If you click this, it will also take you to where I just showed you. Okay, so we have these 3 steps we need to do. We got our personal access token. Next, what we need to do is we need to tell Git who we are and to store our credentials. That means store our password and that personal access token, so we're not constantly having to put it in. So let's see, is my, start my server. Okay, so now we're here. To do this, you should hopefully see this thing here looks like this. If for any reason you don't, and the reason you wouldn't is if you were futzing around and you close the launcher here. You will do that multiple times during the hack week because we close those all the time. And when you do that, all you do is file new launcher and you're going to get another one of these. Okay. Okay, Corey, if you could get hop into a breakout room with someone. Okay. So let's go. Okay, good. Okay, so let's go the now you go on the terminal, and now this is how we're going to. Oop, we got somebody not on mute there. Okay, super. Okay, so you're going to go here, and then this is where you enter this. It's git config -- global user.name. Your name. Next one is git config. You only have to do this once, but you will need to do this on like whenever you set something up to use GitHub. So like if you're opening up in like say Visual Studio Code, you have to do this too. Okay, you do that. And then the next one has to do with the way that we're going to merge changes. You can find details about that on the Git SnowEx one that I just put in. Let's see, what is it? Pull rebase faults. Okay, great. Pull.rebase faults. Now, the next one is the critical one. So if you get in a situation ever when you're using Git and it keeps asking you for your username and password, what happened is you didn't run this next line of code or you used the wrong credential manager. So it is, I think we're on, are we on Ubuntu? Something like that, some kind of Linux here. But on this kind of operating system, credential manager, the manager is called store. If you're on a Mac, it's something like, you look up the different name, it's something Oxy, something like that. If you're on a PC, it has yet another name. So you have to know what the credential manager name is for what you're on. And for ours, it's called store. So you're just going to run that code right there. Okay. And as I said, you can go on here and you can just, oh, yipes, sorry, it is helper. Darn it. It's not manager. You notice I didn't hit return. I was like, hey, I better go check that before I hit return. So global credential helper store. So check that. Global credential helper store. And that's it. I'm actually not going to hit it because I've already stored mine. I don't want to accidentally have to redo my credentialing. Okay, so now next, let's do the next thing, which is we need to trigger Git to ask for your credentials. And to make it easy, we've set up this private repository. And when you try to clone that, it's going to ask for your credentials. So go on to here, down here, copy this. So I'm going to copy that. Yes, these commands are all mandatory. If you don't run that credential helper, it's going to ask for your username and password and that access token every single time you try to do something. Okay. So the next one that you're going to do is you're going to run that code that I just copied right there, that git clone, that. And this is what should trigger it to ask for your username. And it's going to say password, but it means the access token. So go ahead and enter that. I'll show you what happens when I do it. My credentials are already entered is the problem. So it just works for me, but for you, it's going to ask for your username and access token. So let's see, did anyone get all the way here and get this part all set up? All connected. This is the hard part, actually. One of the hard parts. Okay. I don't see anyone saying they got this far. How did you bring up? Good question. Yes, yes, don't be shy. Just ask any questions there. So you should see the launcher. You should see this. If you don't see that, you do File, New Launcher, and you'll have a new one, and then click Terminal. Yes, that access token that you copied just a moment ago, that's what you're going to need. If you didn't put it into some kind of text somewhere that you can get it, then you'll have to generate a new token. I'm getting bash shared IT, no such file when checking my commands. Okay, Santiago, I think you'll need to hop into a breakout room. Do we have a helper who can help Santiago? Fatal could not create worktree dir. Read-only file system. Oh, wow. Okay, interesting. Read-only file system. Wow. Okay, anyone else? Has anyone got successfully to the point of doing that clone line? I'm through. Okay, great. Anyone else? We have one. Megan, thank you, Megan. So jump in with Megan in as helper 2 and screen share there. Put in, I can't put my password in. Okay, so when you paste in that token, you won't see anything. It'll look blank, but just do the paste and hit return. Yep, there we go. Thank you. Yes, Control V. On a Mac, I'm actually I think I'm on a Mac and it's a Command V. It's very confusing because it looks like it's not pasting in the password. It looks like nothing happened. But just ignore that, do your Command V and then hit return. Is that the URL? No. Nope, the one you want is not that one. That, oh, okay. So if you are trying to clone something different than what I gave you, so it's here, I'll put it in the chat again. It's right there. That is the command you want. GitHub setup check git. If you try to do anything else, it's not going to ask for your username and password. The reason it's asking for your username and password is that it's a private repository. Yeah, okay, great. Support for password authentication was removed. Okay, so Jonas, you don't use your GitHub password, you use that token that we generated. So remember when I was going here and I went to the personal access tokens? This is what you need to do. Generate that, generate. Click repo, make sure you click that. If you don't do that, it won't have enough permissions. Do at least 2 months, because otherwise you have to just create another one for the hack week. Generate token, copy it. This is what you use as the password when it asks for it. Okay. Great. So someone posted in the chat about something that says they're putting in, GitHub global user attendee name. That's all the right commands. Just don't put in attendee name, put in your name, and don't put attendee hack week, put in your email. That all works great. You're missing the one thing, which is setting up the credential helper as store. Great, okay. Excellent, great, Dylan. Yeah, so yeah, sometimes you have to, recreate a token, recopy it, or if you pasted your token somewhere else, copy it again. Good thing is you only have to do this once. Okie dokie. So now what I want to see is let's see a raise of hands of how many got through the authentication part. Roughly. Oh, yeah. We've got 3 there. Only 3? Anyone else? Just Gail, Megan, and Dylan? Okay, Sean. Sean, it looks like you did successfully clone something if it says it already exists. But yes, go ahead and hop in. If we could get some more helpers and rooms to screen share with the folks who are having a hard time. Now we've got 4 who've gotten it. How many more do we have? Okay, great. Still just 4. Okay, so it seems like most of you are still stuck a bit. Okay, so I need to get a few more of you ready before I move on. For those of you, 4 of you who, yeah, I've got this. So everything that I'm going to be doing next is in the instructions here, and I've got videos of what I'm going through. So feel free to start playing ahead. While I get a few more folks up and ready so we can move ahead. Okay. So put your hand up if you've got it working. Okay, so. I can't paste my token. So Angela, what's going on there is it looks like it's not pasting. Yeah, exactly. It will look like nothing is happening. Don't give up. Just do Command V or Control V and hit return. Woohoo! Oh, we've got a few more. We're up to 5. It's very confusing that it doesn't show you like it's done anything. So you think that it didn't take your token, but you just have to do that. Control V or Command V, hit return. Once it works, what you're going to see is if you go here in Jupyter Lab and you click here, you're going to see GitHub setup check. That's going to appear. Okay, how are we doing here? Okay, we got 5. Yep, make sure to put your hand up when it's working. I want to get to 6 before I move on here. Woo! Okay, we have 6. Okay, great. So the rest of you, as you get it, go ahead and put your hand up. Helpers, if you could let yourself be known where you are, hop in a helper room. Another option is we may have helpers in rooms right now. So if you're stuck, go ahead and look at the breakout rooms and go ahead and join another room, because that means there's a helper over there. Okay, great. Oh, yes, most of you. Okay, so we're going to move on now. Next we start with the skills. Okay, I know it's frustrating. This setup part is so frustrating. And the reason we're doing this now is to get you all past that. Now you're set up. You don't have to do this part again. Now you can just start working. It won't ask for your password and token again. Now let's hop into the first skill that we want to learn to interact with Git and GitHub. We want to create a blank repository on GitHub. So go to your GitHub account. So that's going to be github.com. And for me, it's Eli Holmes. For you, it's just put your name. There we go. Then you're going to go over here to this plus sign. You're going to click that and click New Repository. You could also do it over here, but let's just do it here. What the heck? Okay, New Repository. You don't need to pick a template. For now, I want you to just call it test. Make it public. Make sure to click this. This is essential. Always click that README. Otherwise, we can't clone it onto the hub. Click the README. The git ignore, you don't have to have this. I always put it in there, and you're going to find it easier during the hack week if you do have one. So just get into the habit of creating it. We're going to be working in Python, so go down and click Python. What this is doing is there are all these files that will be created, you know, when you're working with Python or notebooks, and you really don't want those pushed up to GitHub for various reasons. So, you know, it's something to do with like the setup of some kind of setup thing. And this is just creates a template of all the sort of generic things, so you don't have to remember them. So that's it. Make sure that README is clicked, make sure it's public, make sure it's test, and it should have your name here. Then click create. There you go. You have created your first blank repository on GitHub. Now what we want to do is we want to clone that in. I'm teaching you a workflow of creating something on GitHub in your account first, creating it there, and then pulling it in and making changes. That workflow, create and work on GitHub, clone it in, is a workflow that will save you a lot of headaches. For those of you with zero experience, start with that. Don't try to make it locally and then push the first one up. No, create the blank one on GitHub, pull it in, and then put what you need into the new repository. So now I have this. So that now is the first skill. Hopefully you all got that skill. You made your own first repository. Somebody's unmuted, by the way. Now we learn our second key skill. We are going to clone that repository onto the hub. Whenever we're cloning things, you're going to want the URL of the repository on GitHub. You're going to want the URL of your repository. So here it's got my name and test. For you, it's going to be your name and test. So copy the URL. That's the first step. Then you're going to head over to Jupyter Lab. before you do anything, look at where you are. So, okay, I'm here. You see, this is the, I'm click the file and I'm at the base. I'm not in this. So if you happened out of curiosity to look there and you're inside here, you see this, it's this and this. You're going to want to click this over here and get to the base level. You want to be able to see shared like that. So make sure you're there. And then you click over here. That's your Jupyter Lab Git. And you click clone. And now it's asking for that URL. And that's why I wanted it. I just paste that in and I hit clone. And that's it. It's in. There is that new repository right there. It just has a README file. I can look at it. There's nothing there, just that. Okay. If you need to re-watch these skills again, you're like, let me see that again. I made this show me for each one. Each one gives you show me. When you see multiple, what's going on is I show you different ways. Start here. This is where I show you with the Jupyter Lab Git. You can see it with other ways, doing exact same thing with other systems here. Okay, so now we have two. We have two of the 4 key skills. Next, we want to make some changes and commit our changes to this repository. So committing doesn't mean pushing it up. Committing is writing the little note and putting it in with our repository. So it looks like I have a question, Caitlin.
Sorry, I don't have a question. I just put my hand up because I finally caught up. But
okay. All right, good. Okay, so let's make some changes and commit our changes. So what do we need to do first? First, we need to open something up. So if you're here, go ahead, double click on test, get yourself into the README, and you should see this here, the README. And we just are going to add a little bit of text, a small change. And then we want to save that. So save, it's a markdown file. So I'm going to do save markdown file. Okay. Make sure you save it. This is important. That save step was important. Now, what is the status of what I've just done? I have made a change, but I have not told Git that I would like to commit this change, write a little note about it. It's just there, but I haven't really done anything. If I click now on the Jupyter Lab, let's look at what I see. Aha, I see this thing here. It says it's changed. Okay, but it's not staged. Remember, staged means those are the things I'm about to make a little note about. Well, there's nothing there. It's a 0. I just have one change here. Sometimes you're going to see your changes appear in untracked. When would you see that? You would see that the first time you add a file. But that's okay. You can treat it just as if it appeared in changed. So I need to tell Git that I want to write a little note about this. The way you do this in this GUI is you need to roll over the file and do that little plus right there. And you can't quite tell, it's because my cursor's getting in the way, but the info thing says stage this change. So there, I click that. And now what you see is it's staged. There are no changes that are not staged. So all the changes I've gotten ready. I'm ready to write a little note. And now it helpfully makes this red. It's prompting me, hey, you want to write a little note? So I write a note about this small change. And I hit the blue, commit the change. Okay, so that's it. That's how I commit a change. I write a little note about the change. I look over here, see what's changed. I stage it by clicking the little plus signs. And then I write the little comment and I hit the blue button, commit. I can go on to history and I can see all the changes. So here I can see this small change. There we go. That's not too useful. I can click on that and get a little more info. I can go down here and see, aha, that's what that change was about. Oh, I just did this small change. Okay, great. That's helpful. Now I know what that was about. Okay, cool. Great, close that. Okay, so we have now done our 3 big skills. Next skill is, let's push it up to GitHub. So if I go, let's go and check this out on GitHub. So here I'm on GitHub, and you can see the README doesn't have that little change in it yet. That's because I've made a local change, but I haven't pushed it. So let's go ahead and push it. So changes, there's no changes here. I'm here, I've got that. I'm in this little Jupyter Lab Git here. And look at this little icon up here. You see this is a cloud with an arrow going up. And you see that little red dot that's telling it, aha, you have a change on your local that you haven't pushed up. So it says push committed change. It says, what is it saying? Push committed changes. Ahead by 1 commits. Ahead by 1 commits means you've got something on your local computer, on your local, in this case, Jupyter Hub, that is not in GitHub. All we need to do to push is go like that. And now the dot disappeared. It pushed. Let's go back over here. Let's refresh this. Refresh. Ah, it appeared. There it is. Okay. So we did it. We cloned something and we created a repository. We cloned it, made a change, and pushed that up. So when we go here to that short trunk cycle, we did one of these cycles, and now we just do it again. We keep working. Oh, okay, we don't need that. We can just close it. Let's go back to the README. Let's make another change. Another change. A second in effect. Okay. We are going to save that. Saving it is important. This time I'm just going to view Command S. Once that's done, we have to stage the change by clicking the plus. If I had multiple files I wanted to all stage together, I could just do this and stage all of them. I click that. It prompts me to write a little note. The second note regarding we go, commit. Good. It prompts me, hey, I've got something I haven't pushed yet. Let's push it up. And now there it is. I have to refresh it. It appeared. So now the whole team can see exactly what I'm working on as I'm plugging away on this. And we're all sharing our information as we work. Okay, so I am going to take a break here. And I want to do, okay, actually I want to show you one more thing, which is how to pull changes. I showed you how to push. Let's see how to pull. So before I do this, I want to make sure all my changes that are on the GitHub, are on the Jupyter Hub, are pushed up to GitHub, because I don't want to get into any conflicts. So I'm going to go here. I'm going to make sure, yep, that's good. In fact, I'm going to refresh it to be absolutely doubly sure. Okay, good. I don't want any dots here. Everything is synced up. Now, come back here. I'm going to hop on here, and I'm going to make a change from GitHub. I can do it with this little icon. A change on GitHub. There we go. And you scroll down and you can write a little note, add something on GitHub. And then we commit it. Good. So now it's here, but I haven't pulled it down, right? And I'm working along here, and I look here. Oh, wow, look at that. And in fact, it has really warned me. It really doesn't like this. It really wants me to pull. And so I could say, no, don't pull yet. Or I could just go ahead and do it. I'm going to continue without pulling to just show you what happens. So how you can see it is that we have this little dot here. And if you're uncertain at all, like if you're working with a lot of people, you might want to do refresh to make sure, it goes checks GitHub and sees if there's anything. And now I do that and I pull it in. And now you can see I pulled it in. Okay. So now what we're going to do is I will take questions, but I want you to do a variant of this. And what I'd like to try is, okay, we have, great. So, okay, yeah, excellent. Okay, good. Looks nobody's in the rooms. I'm going to close all the rooms. And now I'm going to create some rooms. Yes. Add room. Okay. So there are about 1, 2. Yep, we got a few rooms here. So what I want you to do is now, I opened them all up. And go and jump in a room that doesn't have people in it. Don't have more than like 3 of you in a room. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, that should be plenty. Hop on and try to do this activity here. And the activity is that you're going to open up that copy of README. You're going to make a copy of the README. How do you do that in Jupyter Lab? You're going to go to this folder here, and if you right click, you can duplicate. So you're going to duplicate it. Then you're going to rename it to something, add some text, and try to stage and commit it, and then push it to GitHub. So you're just trying to push to your repo. So we'll do this for like, let's give us like, I don't know, 10 minutes. And I'll kind of float around and see how you're doing, but work with each other and ask questions. Hey, can you do this? Hey, I'm stuck here. So this is a way for you to, help improve your own learning by doing a little what's called peer programming. So just give it a try. Any helpers that are here, go ahead and just float around.
Nicoletta, I just got another invitation, but it's still login denied, access denied. So I don't know what am I, what I should do. Oh, she left. Okay, well. This is Sveta. I just still can't log in.
Who is it?
Sveta.
Oh, Sveta. Okay, let me. Okay.
HP helped me, but
yeah,
I just still have this denied thing.
But can you? I want to stop sharing, and while the others are working on that, can you screen share?
Yeah, of course. Maybe I'm just doing something wrong. I don't know. So start here.
Yeah.
get to that.
Okay. You're stuck right at the beginning. Yeah. So let me, can you go to the SnowEx org?
SnowEx.org here.
Yeah, that people SnowEx Hack Week that, yeah, no, not that one. You have it's people SnowEx Hack Week in your tab.
People, hold on, I'll just find out this one.
Yeah, that one. Yeah. Okay. And now go.
I'm public, so this is good.
Okay, roll up your member. Sveta AK, one person. No, that's one person. That's not right. Click on the SnowEx Hack Week icon.
Right here?
Yeah. Click on Teams. Oh, right. Okay. Okay. They did not add you to the team yet.
HP invited, well, I don't know. Okay.
Yeah, so you're just so okay, why don't you stop sharing? I will share, I'll show you what I see. Get over there, organizations. Okay. So here, I'm here. If I click on Teams, I see all these teams, and you need to, one, be able to see this, and two, when you click here, you should be listed.
I see.
Kind of what's, oh no, you're just not, they didn't add you there because I don't have any special permissions. I'm exactly the same as you in terms of my permissions, but I can see the teams. So they've set it up somehow wrong for you.
Okay, well,
Sveta.
do you know who has the administrative privilege to do that?
Yes. I'm just double checking. Okay. Yep. So let me go back here. Let me see. Who has that? Okay. How come Scott? HP has permissions to do it, but he wasn't able to get you on, huh?
No, what he did, let me show, let me find that email that he just said.
Yeah, I stopped sharing if you want to share and show that.
I wonder if that's that's what I just got in the
yes
room. Is that the right one?
Yes. Did you click that?
Yeah.
Okay. He invited you, but he didn't add you to the teams. Let me see. Let me go see if I can grab him in a chat.
Oh no, hold on. Here we go.
I just slacked him.
Yay! Great.
Yeah. Oh, okay, it worked. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, now go to that Jupyter Hub again. Log in. Yeah, just refresh it.
Okay. Well, I'll keep trying and then just I'll let you know if
I just close that window and then reopen it.
Sounds good.
But that was a big improvement that you can see the team. Let me double check that he did add you now to that team though, because you might be in the org, but not on the team. Okay, yeah, I think I have a feeling he didn't add you to the team. Yeah, that's what's going on. Well, you've made a step forward, but there's one more step he needs to do. Let me reach him via chat. Okay. Okay, Sveta, he's talking over there in the breakout room, so.
Yeah, I'm gonna rewatch this anyway, so I'll just
He didn't know that he had to add you to the participants 2022. He's got you in the org, but there's one more step he needs to do. But I'm gonna stop the breakout rooms in like 2 minutes, and I'll ping him to do that. And once he does that, it's, you know, it doesn't take long. You just need to get onto that team. All right, anyone who's here, did folks give it a try doing the little exercise? Anyone want to? Okay, yes, good, excellent. Okay, that's what I like to hear. So the next activity we're going to do is all working together. Okay, close all rooms. Okay, hi everyone. Hopefully practicing it all together was informative. If you got stuck and you want to see it happen, I made a video of me doing it, and I did it using JupyterLab Git. And if you're curious about how to do that in the shell, I showed myself doing it in the shell also. Any questions that came out of that exercise? Okay. So we're now going to do a second exercise. And this one, we are all going to hop in, and this will be our last exercise, and then we'll close up. If you need to go, feel free just to hop off. We're supposed to go to 2:30, but the setup time took a little longer, so I'm going to go over a little. So in this activity, we're all going to work on the same repository. We want to clone this repository. So you're going to use this skill here, right here. Though there's already a blank repository, you don't need to do that. You're going to jump right into skill 2 and use these instructions. You're going to copy the URL, click this and do the clone part. And you're going to do it with your peers so that when you get stuck, you'll ask each other questions and unstuck yourself. So this is the one we're cloning. Just to get you started, the way you're going to get that URL is you're just going to go here and copy that. That's it. That's all you need to do is just copy that. Okay, let's go back here. Come on, Eli. There we go. Okay, so here's the activity. You're all going to copy this. And then you're going to, oh, did I name it Copy Me? Oh, I have a very bad feeling that I might not have named it Copy Me. I named it Read Me. Okay, so it's there's the first stumble. It's not Copy Me. You're going to do the Read Me, just the activity you did before, but this time you're going to do Read Me. And each of you, I want you to take this, duplicate it, and make it your own name. So we're each going to be getting a different, creating a different file. You're going to push that up, make changes, push. So now what's going to happen is we're going to have 16 different files in this repo. So you're going to be able now to start seeing these pull things appear. And so you're going to periodically pull, make some changes and push. But if we do it correctly, and each of you creates your own copy of README and give it your own name, a separate name, we are never going to clobber on top of each other. So we'll see if we can make this little dance work, okay? So rename it to your name. I'm going to open up the breakout rooms for 10 minutes again, see how far you can get. Breakout rooms. Okay.
Hey, Eli?
Yep.
I did that and I just got the error. I don't have access to it. Would you have to give us permission for that?
Oh, that's a good point. Let me see.
I got the same thing.
Excellent. Okay, thank you. Let me go on there and see what's wrong. Should be public. You should have participant permission.
I was able to clone it. And this is Megan talking.
And maybe just make sure that at the end of that git clone command, you have git basics.git as opposed to a folder. I don't know if that's what's going on, but
yeah, no, that shouldn't matter.
it shouldn't matter. Okay.
No, it should, the URL should work.
I was able to clone it, but it was when I went to push it, I got that access denied error.
Same here.
Okay, you're able to clone, but not push it.
Yes.
How seriously unfortunate. Okay, that's okay. I will fix that. So what I need to do is I need to go here and I need to go here. And I go to basics and I need to go to settings, collaborators and teams, and I need to base roll base roll, add teams. I need to add all of you. There we go. Oh, no. Right. Okay, good. Okay, can someone try to push?
That worked successfully for me.
Was that yes or no?
Yes, I was able to push.
Yay, great. Okay, Megan, excellent. Okay, good, good, good. And now you got to see what you need to do to add collaborators. In this case, I added the whole team, but you can add individual users. About the copy me, I'm sorry, I put the wrong instructions there. It's just use the README, make a copy of the README and give it your name. The key thing is we want to each be working in our own separate files. So we don't like all edit README and then sort of clobber each other. Yeah, actually, I think we can do this without the breakout maybe, because I can kind of watch and see how you're doing here. But I'm going to open up the breakout rooms anyhow. Breakout rooms. Create. Okay, 6, 7, 8. We'll do 8. Okay. There you go. Okay, so I'm going to open all the rooms.
So Eli, here's a question.
Yep.
I know that we have two Megans in here.
Mm-hmm.
So I decided to name mine like Megan M.
Mm-hmm.
And let's see. So when I'm in like my folder icon, I just see the one that I copied and renamed. When I'm in my staged icon, in my like Git staged area, I see both a Megan, the first one I did, until I decided to add the M. So it's like there's 2 documents.
Uh-huh. Now, what do you think's going on? What do you think? Where do you think that first one came from?
Yeah, well, the first one that I generated, which is not the one that I don't think that's the one that got pushed up to Git. I think that was maybe the other Megan.
Okay.
So once I saw that, I wanted to rename mine again. So it's just noticing that change.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I feel like we're on to something.
Yeah. So now, so have you pulled yet?
No.
Okay, good. That's good. You haven't pulled. So go on to Jupyter GitLab and stare at it a bit. And you're going to see that Megan here in the changes, start rolling over these icons and tell me if you can make a guess at what you need to do. Does any of those icons give you a clue? Yeah, just make sure you don't push. I'm going to make a Megan also so I can follow along here.
Yeah, yours don't have the option to open, but mine all do.
Yeah.
I don't think that's it though.
It's untracked. Let's see if I track it. What happens? Nope, unstage. Okay. Alas. Okay. This was my little teaching moment here. Didn't actually work. So let me show you something else, what I was trying to get at, and then I'll show you how you can fix this. Just don't push. That's the key thing. So if I were to edit Eli and I've already like committed it once, can I save that file? Save markdown. Okay. So I've tracked Eli before. I've made changes to it. If I go here and I see Eli, and I just added this little Eli right here, I can roll over and I can hit that, which just says discard changes. So I could discard like that and say discard, and that Eli disappears. Because this is a file that you haven't added yet you haven't been working with, you can't discard changes because it doesn't even know what it is. So instead, what you want to do is just right click and delete it. Same with the, oh, and sometimes I need to ask the Jupyter Hub folks why sometimes we get these checkpoint MDs. But if you get that, I don't know why I'm getting it, just delete it, ignore it, don't need it. Okay. Yep. And nothing really bad is going to happen. We can ignore it for now. So now what you have is now you can see folks have been making changes on Git Basics. Looks like now we've got a bunch of people who've put it in, and now I can pull these in. And you notice there was no problem. The reason there was no problem is that we're all working on separate files. We're not going to have any conflicts when we are working on separate files. This way of working on separate files, or we could work in separate folders, is a way for everyone to work in the repository. Everyone can see what everyone else is doing, but there's no risk of running into conflicts. When we're during the Hack Week, one thing that we'll do when we set up these template repositories for you to help you sort of create this sandbox for yourself is we'll create folders. And so it'll be like Eli folder. And then within that, I can, create files of any type. Down. File. Save, oops. Save markdown file. Did I give it a name? I didn't. Well, okay, rename. So now what I've done is I'm in this repository, Git Basics, but I have my own folder. I can do anything I want there. I can put tons of files, all stuff. And as long as nobody on my team also hops in that file and starts working with my stuff, I'm never going to run into merge conflicts. Okay, yeah, looks like I got some more things. Oh, Caitlin's stuff came in. Great. So I now haven't tracked this yet. Let's go ahead and track it and edit a folder to work in. Commit. Push that up. Now, if we go here, you can see I'm going to reload this. And now this folder showed up. So now I have my own little folder to work in within our joint repository. Okay, so I'm not sure who had the question about pushing files with the same names. Do they merge? Yes, so it's now 2:37. I will get to that question. I'm going to show you, but I want to stop there. We've covered plenty of new material. If this is your first time doing this, play around with these skills. Just the skills that I've showed, get really used to that. And this idea of staging and committing that's a new skill for you. Get that skill honed a little bit. And then when we get into the Hack Week, you're going to learn a few more skills that will be relevant for us. The key one is during the Hack Week, you'll be pulling in the tutorials and you'll be using something that's a fork. And the fork is what you need to know is basically it's another way to create a repository in your account. It's a little bit special and it has a special feature that it's going to be tied to the original. And that's going to be important during the Hack Week because that's going to allow you to fetch things in from the original. So each morning you'll fetch in the changes and get those into the GitHub. But once you fork it, then everything else you're doing, you know, the cloning and everything is going to be the same. And you can also make changes and push them up. You won't be able to push them to the original, but you can push them to your copy just fine.